My son, when we were young, around 20, we have the impression that the world must stop to hear us. We want to tell everything we know, everything we discovered, as if we had unveiled the absolute truth or invented the solution to all problems. But over time, especially after the 30, we begin to understand that silence often speaks louder than any word. Life taught me not only to read books, but to read people, observing the faces, realizing with whom it is worth talking to and who is better to keep silence. And after so many years, I have come to a conclusion. There are 12 things you should never share, neither with friends or with neighbors, even who is closest to. You may even think this is an exaggeration, but Father, I don't hurt anyone. Why can't I share it? I answered with the words of my great grandfather TZVI. Not every door should be open, and not every visitor comes with good intentions. Sometimes silence is the best shield to protect your peace. We Jews go through a lot. They tried to shut up, to oppress us, to ban us to speak. But there was something they could never take us, wisdom, because it is not transmitted with shouts or noise, but with observation, with experience, with the silence that holds the essentials. Want to live well, be respected, have security, then pay attention. Today I will reveal 12 secrets that should not be shared, not because they are magical or because someone can steal them from you, but because they are things that lose power when exposed without discretion. This is not just everyday advice. These are principles that help me preserve my dignity, my friendships, my health, and my essence. Each of them has already saved me or my neighbor not only reputation, but even life. Now I want to pass them to you if you're ready to hear. But listen not only with the ears, with the heart. You know, a wise man has said, the world is not ruled by the speaker, but who knows how to shut up at the right time. And I add, and who knows what to shut up. Why do I choose to talk about it now? Because I see more and more people exposing their lives as if it were a commodity and affair. What they eat, with whom they sleep, how much they earn, where they travel, who hurt them. And then they are surprised when they are envy, criticism, when their plans collapse, or when those who love they move away. All this happens because they themselves open the doors for those who did not come with good intentions. At this time, I will share with you 12 things that should never be revealed, not for fear that you make mistakes, but to live with wisdom, depth, and in harmony with yourself. Listen carefully. Some may seem unimportant details, but remember, it is in the small details that fate is built. A word at the wrong time, and you lose a friend. A secret told to those who should not, and you lose respect. A poorly placed complaint, and tomorrow your pain becomes someone else's joke. In this world, son, there are two types of person, those who talk too much and become empty, and those who know how to silence and become stronger. I want you to be from the second group. Then settle down, close your eyes for a moment. Imagine that you are not just watching a video, but sitting in an old house where the smell of wood and books fill the air. In front of him, an old man who has lived a lot and speaks not for sight or likes, but because he doesn't want to take these teachings with him. Watch until the end, and maybe 10 years from now you remember this conversation and think, here is true wisdom not in the high words, but in deep meaning, not in the noise, but in what remains silent. Well, you're still here, so you want to understand. So listen, without haste. These words are not just to be heard, but to be lived. First secret, never reveal your plans. How many times I saw people with their eyes shining, telling enthusiastically about their dreams. I'll open my business. I'll move to Israel. I'm getting married. And then, in a few weeks, disappointment, emptiness, frustration. Do you know why? Because the plans are like bread mass before baking, moving before the time, bumps everything. In our tradition, it is said, do not open your heart to anyone. Plans need silence to mature, while curious ears only get in the way. Second secret, do not expose your weaknesses. Not everyone who's soft team for you want your good. If you tell your difficulties, some will say strength. You can, but then you will use it against you when you least expect it. Once, at a difficult time, I trusted a friend. 2 weeks later, I heard him talking about me. This one already broke. Won't hold on. Since then, I learned that weaknesses are not to be displayed, but to be shared only who is really by your side or with God in prayer. Third secret, do not boast of your good deeds. Help someone, excellent, but if you go out telling everyone, it's no longer aid, it becomes business. And what was generosity turns into food for the ego. The sages teach, he who does good in silence brings the world closer to harmony. Who does good and screams to the four winds only inflates his own value. I once gave part of my salary to the widow of a neighbor. No one learned, and you know what I felt. Not proud, but an inner peace. This is the real good, without audience, without applause. Fourth secret, do not judge the mistakes of others. Oh, how people love to comment on others' lives in the kitchen, on the bus, On social networks. Did you see how he drank? She left her husband, as if you failed to make us better. But the truth is simple. Whoever judges will be judged. You only see the tip of the iceberg of the life of others. Underneath are the pain, the reasons, the stumbles, the fate. The Talmud teaches, do not judge someone until you are in your place, and you will never be, even if you think you understand. Fifth secret, do not complain about your family in public. Did you fight with your wife? Did the son disappoint? A relative offered. This happens to everyone. But if you leave out there, you're undermining your own home with your own hands. The family is like a crystal vase, a crack on the outside, and all the content is at risk. Discuss indoors, solve problems in silence, but never take it to the street. People will keep only the bad and treat your loved ones worse than you deserve. Sixth secret. Do not open your soul to anyone. There are people who tell the whole life to the first who appears and then wonder why he is hurt, why he suffers manipulations. Because the soul is not a train station. It cannot be a place of passage. Open your heart only to those who prove that they can really hear, not only pretend interest. I once trusted my doubts to someone. The following Saturday, I saw my words transformed into gossip. Since then, I understood confidence is like gold. Do not distribute it as worthless currencies. Seventh secret. Never talk how much money has. There is a saying of ours, money is told in silence, the others, not even counting. If you sport a new car, wait for envy. If you reveal your salary, wait for loan requests or greed looks. Poverty humiliates, but the wealth displayed causes. God gives you what you need. If you have, thank you, but showing it is to invite unnecessary problems. Eighth secret. Do not reveal all your knowledge. Wisdom is like a sharp sword. Those who brave it around every corner will be the first to lose its strength. Find out, but count. Speak only when they ask or when your words can save someone from a mistake. A wise rabbi said, the smartest in the room is not the one who argues, but who listens. The wise man is like a deep well. On the outside, one does not see his greatness, but whoever drinks him finds water to the bottom. Ninth secret. Do not expose your intimate life. This, perhaps, is the dirtiest thing people do today. They transform into a show what should be sacred, the intimate, what belongs only to the heart. What happens between you and who loves is just both of you, no one else. The moment you begin to tell how, where, or with whom, it is destroying the mystery that builds true proximity. My wife and I were faithful for 47 years, and no one ever knew what was among our souls. So we had real love, not a soap opera for the audience. 10th secret. Don't talk bad about yourself. Sometimes man relegates with phrases like, I'm not so smart, I won't make it, or who am I for that? And the world believes in him, placing him exactly where he himself put himself. Don't be arrogant, but don't belittle it either. This is a sin against its essence. You are creation of the Most High. How can you insult what was done with love? One day, he said to myself, error, but I'm not a mistake. Since so I got up from the floor. First secret, do not complain of life. If your burden is heavy, know that someone's is even more. Cry in silence, talk to God or whom he truly loves him, but does not turn the pain into eternal thumbs. People move away from those who only know how to complain. I met a man who lived grumbling. The spine hurt, the neighbors made noise, the money was missing, until one day I told you, do you know why you don't have friends? Because being with you is like facing a storm. There is no rest. Force isn't accepting. Yes, it's hard now, but I'm alive. I still fight. 10-second secret. Do not repeat the envy of others. See someone buy an apartment and don't say what luck. Perhaps he is drowned in debt. Perhaps it was consumed inside to get it. You don't know the price of it. Seeing the success of the other, bless him, Baruch Hashem. I'm glad it worked for him. It worked for him. Will give me too. Envy is poison. Even if you just repeat what others say, the words shape your inside. If you want to live light, speak lightly. These are my son, the 12 secrets. Simple. Perhaps you've heard them before, but now, after listening to them from beginning to end, they feel that they are not just advice, they are laws of life. Bricks to build your fortress. Not a stone house, but a home inside you. Today, when people can't stay 3 minutes without playing on a screen, the fact that you have come here already says a lot. It means there is something real in you. It is not one of those who run behind empty advice. It is one of those who present. Depth is not in short sentences, motivational cliches, or cheap and noisy success. We just went a small but essential path, 12 steps, 12 reminders, not what to say, but what to shut up. Why does that matter? Because life is full of noise too much. People are afraid of silence, to be alone with themselves. They fill everything, the nets, the time, the airs, the mind. And in this noise the essential is lost, the inner voice, the conscience, the soul. the wisdom dot. Do you know what makes a man strong? Not only knowledge or ability to speak. It is the ability to silence when it should and speak only when necessary. Listen to this. As my father taught me, the word is an arrow. Once triggered, don't come back. Think before you tension the bow. Now you know what you should not share. But I go further. You have the right to your stillness, your soul, your thoughts, your life. It is not obliged to divide everything, to be understood by everyone, to open to any one dot and what to do with this knowledge first. Live with conscience. Before you open your mouth, ponder what is the cost of that word. Words build, but also destroy, and you can ruin not only the life of others, but yours, dreams, relationships, reputation. Second, choose the one who reveals themselves. An open soul is not weakness if you open yourself to those who know how to keep your wounds carefully. But if you expose yourself to every one, don't be surprised when you throw mud in them. Third, be the example. The world does not change with speeches, but when a man becomes quiet, wiser, more kind, and others follow, and become this person without fuss, without ostentation, simply live with integrity. I don't know how long I still have to speak. Age is stubborn. Sometimes I wake up and I think good to see the sun again. But one thing has learned in these years. The most valuable is not what we have left behind, but what we can pass on advice, a support, a look, a word. If you gave it, you didn't live in vain. I tell you that. But it's like telling myself 30 years ago, going back to the past to give me the clues that I ignored myself. If you are younger than me, you may still give time to avoid what I took decades to fix. And if you take with you at least one of these 12 secrets, if you don't forget it in 3 days, if when it comes to letting out someone to remember my face and think shut up, keep it to you. It will protect you so nothing you said was in vain. Today it is common to end asking, short, comment, share. I will not order anything. But it felt that this was not just another video, but a real conversation. If you want more dialogues like that, care not only to listen, but to learn, grow, rescue what was forgotten. So stay here, not for the numbers, but so that it does not aim me in this noisy and superficial world. I will be waiting for you in this corner of silence, where only the necessary is said. Shalom. May your soul be in peace. May your words be wise, and even in the most difficult times, know the true force is in silence and in fact said at the right time.